Okay, please.
So, my name is Cornelius. I'm a writer, producer, actor, rapper, everything. I was told that in this industry it's good to be consistent with reaching out to people who you want to seek help from. How do you all take that as far as someone constantly emailing you or contacting your office and your receptionist?
Oh, you're a stalker.
Okay. So that was my question. Do you consider that as, okay, let's give this person a chance, or who is this guy constantly calling? How do you take that, and what will actually make you say, yes, let's bring him in or her in? Anybody?
I'm going to jump on that one because I'm a pleasant pest. And I think that timing is everything. I think you need to know as much as you can possibly find out about that person and really truly look into what the values are of that person. You know, values I'm talking about, you know, characteristics. Some people, a high value for them is integrity or loyalty, or they have things that they like. Their family is very important to them. Leisure time is very important. Or they like New Zealand. So find out really what their interests are, like what charities do they participate in. So really do a character study on the person that you want to connect with. And also be of service first. So if you're asking to connect with someone, figure out a way how you can be of service to them. And and it's timing. If you reached out to someone, day one, and you're reaching out to them again on day 3, that may be annoying. So you may want to, I have a database, and I put on my database, who I contacted, when I contacted them, what the results were. And then I'll go back, like I may give it 2 weeks. If there's a particular job that, I'm going after a project, I may be a little bit more consistent within a week, and there's ways of following up. But I would suggest that all of you read a book called Well Connected by Curtis Gordon. And he talks about developing relationships and how you do that, because you have to get influencers too. Like I mentioned with Sylvia Rowan, it took me a year to get that meeting with her, but there were influencers. Her receptionist was someone that she really, really trusted, or her secretary that she really trusted. And so I spent a lot more time with the secretary who went in and was the person that helped set up that meeting, and look at who else is connected to that person that you want to connect with. So building your network, and I can't overemphasize this, it is really, when you really talk about really elevating your game and going to that next level, you'll go in the room and you have all the skill sets in the world. You've got the look, you've got the attitude, you speak well, and like, who do you know? Who do you know in my network? So you want to already be ready to rattle that off, because that's what they're checking out. Because you have the credentials, you got the look, you got a great attitude, but they don't really know who you are character-wise. So somebody has to talk about your character. And you want to have a network of people who you really trust, who can really honestly speak about your character. So work on that network, use your social media, particularly LinkedIn. And if you're using LinkedIn, just don't put up a profile, you have to be active on LinkedIn. You have to show some really interesting, curate information on there. And things will open up for you.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that book?
Well Connected by Curtis Gordon. It is one of my favorite networking books. You should be reading networking books that will give you skill sets. Never Eat Alone. That's another one. Click. There's quite a few of them out there. So still really work on these. And there's social media books out there too to help with that.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what Michelle said, and she made a great point when she said to be of service. And this is to Cornelius that asked the question. It's very important to, when you're out there, to not be afraid to help others first, because sometimes it is who you know, but it's also who's willing to say that they know you. And if you're putting yourself out there and you're helping other people, you're gonna come across that person that remembers your service, remembers your skills and what you're trying to do, and they're gonna refer you. So just stay consistent with that, and don't be afraid to get out there and be the first one to introduce yourself or to connect with someone else.
The way Hollywood people look at people is we're kind of in a war for our lives every day. So if I sit there, and this is how you stood up, I went, check out that guy, just stood up, he's a rapper, he's this, he's that, okay. He actually stood up because he refuses for this thing to stop. And he stood up there and took on the whole panel, sat there and went, That's a soldier. Man, if I need a job, I'm thinking, and I need someone working, I'm gonna send him in to get the interview because I know he's not gonna come back with nothing less than an interview. That's just how quickly we judge someone. That's how fast we judge someone. So we see that. You know, the easiest way to work in Hollywood is this: I'll work for free. Most people will never turn down anyone who'll work for free. So it's easy to work in Hollywood. Now it's hard to get paid in Hollywood. It's easy to work in Hollywood because you can work for free. But the fact is, if you're out there saying, it's simple, it's just common sense, they're gonna judge you next. Okay, call me one day, listen, I'd love to come in and have a meeting. The schedule's pretty booked up, maybe 6 months from now, whatever, let's talk again. Call you again in 6 months, call you 3 months, whatever it is, polite calls, like to talk to you. It's flattering, number one, but it also shows us more than anything that you are persistent. You know, and a lot of times when a job does come around, miracle of miracles, I just cast a guy at CBS, and I got him in a pilot and a movie and all these things. I worked with him 2 years ago. Luis Jimenez, big guy. I worked with him 2 years ago. Just so happened to be, he called up the day I was looking for that type character. And I went, oh shit, Luis, let's get Luis in. Oh, you gotta see Luis. And all of a sudden, CBS sees him and he's got it. So timing is a big part of it. But if he wasn't consistently knocking on my door, I would have forgot about it. That's it. So you're doing everything right. Stand it up, introduce your name, all that stuff is perfect. You have to keep going forward. And everything is that most of us, we need workers, we need soldiers, we need people behind us to do something. We need. So just keep knocking, go, I'm here to help you.
I will say though, because I think you asked a question about like how much is too much, and I think like a few things that are very practical, like I'll meet with a lot of people, but I want to know specifically what you want from me, right? And I want to know in that, you don't have to say like, you know, you can say, I just want 10 minutes of your time. I think that's great. But be very specific about why you want those 10 minutes, why it has to be face-to-face, right? And in terms of following up with someone, use common sense. Sometimes we detach ourselves. Like if you were trying to make plans with like a friend, you know, and you were like, or you were hollering at somebody that you liked, you know, and you were like, hey, you want to hang out? And the person's like, oh, I'm mad busy, da 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 da. You're not gonna the next day or like 2 days later be like, yo, you want to hang out? Like that would be weird and creepy, you know? You like wait like a week, and then you're like, hey, what's your week look like now? Oh, it's good. Okay, cool. That, you know, it's like. Apply the same ease that you would to a casual situation, but with respect for the person's time, right? Like that's the only difference, is like respect the person's time.
I love all this honesty. It's so great. Thank you so much for being here, panelists and audience members. And awesome questions. Yes, one more question. Okay.
Well, my name's Tiffany.
Yes, Tiffany.
I'm a soon-to-be graduate integrated communications management, and I hope to be like the next PR innovator. My question is, how to transition with all this networking talk? How do you transition your network from your friends, your childhood friends, to your like current professional network? Because I noticed as a soon-to-be graduate, a lot of my friends everything's like different. Like now, and people are really the people in my network are treating me different that didn't go to college or that really aren't trying to better themselves. Or how do you transition your network? What are some tips to transition that network?
I'm going to jump in on that. You may not be able to bring your friends with you, frankly. You know, you have a vision, and don't drag anybody along in that vision. Stay clear on it. So what's going to be important in your network is the who or what's going to support you. It may not be your family, it may not be your friends, it may not be your mother or your father, your sister or your brother, but there will be someone who will support you. And really grasp this. Support is energy. Everybody is supported and everybody is not supported. There is a duality. It exists. Mother Teresa wasn't supported by everybody. Neither was Dr. King, Gandhi, or Chavez. But there were supporters. Even Ted Bundy was supported. So realize when you have those moments where it feels like nobody is on your side, is supporting you, just stop and take a breath and know that somebody is, even if it's not visible. You will be supported. And you just keep going, and you reach out to a network of people who are doing PR. You go to those organizations because they can inspire you. People are doing what you're doing. You may have to separate yourself from the circle, and that's the scariest thing because you're leaving the tribe. You're going to join somebody else's tribe. So you can't be afraid of that, and just know that you're going to be supported. And I will say, Russell Simmons talked about that. And don't be afraid of what that's going to look like. You know, Russell Simmons, it wasn't like he had a whole bunch of African American investors around him trying to do hip hop. That wasn't the case. And he didn't care. He was like, whoever's going to support me is going to support me in my vision, my dream, and just stick to that. Just know that it's going to happen for you.